Where the hell did that rain come from? Hey guys, it's me again, Jen, and welcome to the second part of the two-part video that I created from last week, where I gave you guys 11 great reasons why you should be working here in Ireland. If you haven't seen it, I'm gonna put the link up there, but if you already did, you probably already know that I love working here in Ireland, obviously, but I just think that I need to tell you guys some of the things, or 5 of the things that I wished I knew before I moved here. Number one is the weather. When I first got here, a lot of people told me, you know what, you really need to invest in waterproof coats like umbrellas. They don't work here. Yeah. You can't really rely on the weather. Are you really gonna wear that outside? At first, I really didn't care about what they're saying too much, but then days, weeks, months passed by, and then that's when I realized that for an Asian like me who's used to a hot but stable weather in the Philippines, the weather here in Ireland is one of the biggest change that I ever had to face. Like I said in one of my videos, one of the things that Ireland is known for is its fickle weather. You can experience the 4 seasons in one day, and sometimes even in 5 minutes. It can be nice and dry at some point, and then it's just gonna start raining out of the blue. I also learned not to base my outdoor activities based on the weather, because if I do, then I definitely be staying on the couch for the whole week. I haven't experienced extreme cold weather here. I think the coldest that I have experienced was -2, but that's truly bearable if you are wearing the right clothes. And sometimes I wanted to be colder, to be snowing, because that's one of the things that a typical Asian would dream of, like, playing with the snow, creating some snow angels, because we don't have that in the Philippines. But let's have a look at the bright side. Did you know that Ireland is the quietest place for seismic activity here in Europe? Earthquakes and tsunamis rarely happen here. There's only around 200 registered earthquakes in the last 40 years, whereas in the Philippines, we experience 100 to 150 earthquakes in a year because we have a 1,200-kilometer long fault line. I think it's just a reminder that you can really have the best of both worlds at all times. Number two is the tax. But where in the world is the tax not even a problem? Anyway, I still want to talk about this because when I first saw my employment contract back in 2018, I was like, but of course, I know that I'm only gonna take home a portion of that money, and then the rest of it is gonna go to the government. That's just like everywhere else, so that is fine. If I am in the Philippines with my current salary, I will only be taxed around 28%, but now I am being taxed at around 34%. That's still a big difference. But again, looking at the bright side, I have a lot of social welfare benefits here just by paying that tax that I wouldn't have if I am in the Philippines. The most promising ones are the job seekers allowance that the government is going to give you if you are in between jobs, the subsidized dental services, and the child benefit, which is a €140 allowance for each of your child under 16 years old. Okay, that last one is not yet applicable to me because I don't have a baby yet, but it's just gonna be handy in the future. Also, did you know that Ireland is one of the best places to start a business? The corporate tax here is only 12.5% compared to the 30% back in the Philippines, and the highest record of 34% in Brazil and Venezuela. And that is a huge, massive, humongous difference. Number three, it is not part of the Schengen area. You might think that if you're a non-European person who's already permanently residing in a European country, you can already travel anywhere in Europe. Well, no. First of all, what is the Schengen area and why I wished Ireland is a part of it? It is a group of 26 countries covering nearly all of the mainland Europe. I'm gonna put the list of the 26 countries in there. If you have a Schengen visa, then you will be able to travel across all of those 26 countries. Also, if you are permanently residing in one of those 26 countries, then you are free to travel into the other 25 more. And that's just super handy. Since Ireland is not part of that, I need to apply for this visa every time I want to travel to Europe. It costs around €80, which is not too bad at all, especially if you get multiple entries for a long period of time, like 1 year or 3 years. My only issue is that all of the application centers are in Dublin, so I need to travel 8 hours via train back and forth just for the application. And that means I need to take a day off from work. Well, luckily I have a lot. If you've seen my other video, 25 annual leave credits, I'm gonna put the link there. And thank God that I can have my visa delivered right at my doorsteps, because otherwise I'll need to spend 2 leave credits just for the application itself instead of spending it to the actual holiday. But again, looking at the bright side, did you know that there are other countries outside of the Schengen area that you can actually travel to with just the Schengen visa? And that includes Colombia, Mexico, North Macedonia, and many more. And also, it's only gonna take 5 years for you to be able to apply for an Irish passport. And then this is gonna totally be out of your worries. Number 4, limited public transportation. Ireland is a car country. Every family and sometimes every member of the family have their own cars. And probably that is the reason why the government isn't spending too much in transportation anymore. But I am actually not sure which is the chicken and which is the egg. Like, it can also be that the government is not spending a lot in the transportation, so people just ought to have their own cars. I am not sure. If you know, then just drop it on the comment below. Only the big cities like Dublin, Cork, Limerick would have buses that's running around the city. Here in my small town, if I want to go places, I need to go cycling or get a cab, or I can rent a car and drive it myself. And I kind of miss the jeepneys and the buses in the Philippines where they can bring me anywhere I want. What's also sad is that my Philippine driving license isn't recognized here, so I need to pass an Irish driving exam, which I heard is very tough. Looking at the bright side, if you have an Irish friend and definitely they would have a car, you can definitely ask them for a little favor like a lift every now and again, and sometimes they're even gonna offer it to you without you asking them. And last but not the least, number 5, shops close really early. Back in the Philippines, I am so used to having 24/7 malls and restaurants where after work I would meet some of my friends for a cup of coffee, or I would just go strolling, window shopping, or actual shopping. But here it is quite impossible to do because most of the shops close at 6 p.m. And some days, like Thursdays and Fridays, they will close an hour later. But then again, that's not enough. At first, I thought it's just because I'm living in a small town, but actually that is also the case in Dublin, which is the capital. But the good thing is it brings out your creative juices to think of different things to do every day. So that's it, guys. I've given you all of the information. Now it is the time for you to decide. Ciao!